It doesn't matter. They'll get it fixed because I got to leave right after this. Like I said, I got to get back to the office and get ready for the trip. Hi, everybody. Welcome. Go to the restroom real quick. It's fine, but it's a little tricky. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. We'll get started in a few minutes. You want me to move my stuff?
Don't mind us, we're just wiping down.
Do we introduce each other ourselves or somebody introducing? Do we just go? Okay. Oh, it's time. Like, ooh, it's me all the time.
You want some wipes?
Oh, good. Even better. Okay, I just had my booster shot. It's not because I'm of age. It's because I shouldn't even tell that. I have underlying health conditions. Not that either, but at any rate, I am protected. Just making sure. So the time is now 10:03. So good morning, everyone. Good morning. I have a friend who's now since retired from the Bank of America said he does not punish the punctual. So you all are here before time, and we will not punish you by delaying a moment longer. The process today is we're going to introduce ourselves, go through separate presentation decks, and then answer questions. So I'm going to take about 15 minutes to review my point of view of upskilling from home, and then Lakeisha, my partner in crime, will come and do her 15-minute stint. And y'all keep us honest. I hope somebody has a timer back there because I can be a little loquacious. And then we'll open up the floor for questions. So to get us started, I want to share with you who I am, what I do. My name is Dr. Felicia Blow. I am an Associate Vice President for Development at the best HBCU anywhere, Hampton University. No, I say that. HBCU love. We have a Norfolk State University right down the street. We have Virginia State University. And my husband's a Trojan. And Virginia Union in this state. And so many, many others, 106 others. But my husband runs his own business for which I'm a partner. And I was pleased to engage in this conversation because I know what he goes through. And me being a partner, if you're married, you know what your spouses or significant others' issues are. They're also your own. So we're in this together. Next slide, please. Oh, do I advance? Oh, that would help. All right. Let's see, is it gonna? Yes, please, because I don't even know where I'm supposed to be pointing the thing. And that says Tuesday, which today I believe is the. I'm not an IT major. I do have a PhD, but I can't figure that out. You did? Okay. So you got it, Lakeisha? Okay. So upskilling from home. I have 2 points of view that we'll be talking about today. At your brick and mortar location, where you work, maybe it's not even brick and mortar, but from the point of view of working in a going concern that's not your own, we're going to talk about promotability. How, if you're in a remote environment, you need to position yourself to move up. That's very difficult. When you're working in a part remote or fully remote environment, how do you get mentors and sponsors? What does that look like? How should you be positioning yourself? And then for emerging opportunities, who do you go to if you see something on your company's website or you get a posting? What do you do if you want to be considered? And then building relationships and allies. And I'm sure from the D&I movement, diversity, equity, and inclusion, having allies is something we've talked about extensively, and how in Black, Brown, LGBTQ plus, age, from those different dimensions of diversity, you need to be cultivating allies. Just as an aside, I keep looking at this young man with Columbia undershirt. I'm going to say something that's a little bit controversial. It's always fun, right? Just jump right out there and say it. But I serve as the national chair-elect for an organization called PRSA. And PRSA is 70% women, and the majority are women, white women. So I was in a meeting once, and there was a young man in the meeting, and he says, I am straight, and I am white, and I'm a guy. So does that make me a minority in PRSA? So when you think about the dimension of diversity, I didn't think I was going to be preaching about DE&I, but consider where you are in terms of the context of what diversity means in that environment. So thank you for sitting there. That gave me that thought. Then the other area we're going to go over is starting your own home-based businesses. This is not to take away from your brick and mortar. My husband worked his construction company, and he's a Class A contractor in Virginia, which is a tough gig for a Black guy. I mean, you don't see a whole bunch of them. And he worked both his day job and his company before he went 100% to his company. So going on to the next slide, what is remote work? This is the definition you all can read, I know. So I'm not gonna go through the entire thing, but it's essentially you are not in the place where your business has its address. You go there sometimes, you zoom in, you may go a couple days a week, but that's what remote work is. And if you want this deck, I think there's a process for the decks to be made available to everybody. But one of the first things, I used to work at Cox Communications. I have a high degree of love for Cox Communications. Great, great company. The first thing, regardless of whether you're going to be your own home-based business or whether you're going to remote in, your home-based infrastructure's got to be tight and it's got to be right. So what this slide says to you, what is your Wi-Fi capacity? What is the speed of your internet service? Do you have all of the software on your computer assets? Do you have a space to call your own and you're not working from the kitchen where the kids are coming in and people are going in, the dog is barking? So, and this one I really liked because I did use some resources to pull this together. That fifth bullet, illumination. What is worse than being in a Zoom meeting and when you're going, well, where are you? And this can go for black or white people, okay? Where are you? We can't see you. So it may seem trite, but think about these things because this is your personal brand. How do you want yourself to be perceived? Professional, competent, capable. And going to the next slide, and so I'm swiftly moving through because like I said, I only have 15 minutes, building sponsor and supervisory work relationships through remote work. It's not easy. There's a feeling sometimes of isolation and loneliness, and the people that are at the ranch, back at the ranch, are getting all the visibility. But there are ways around this, right? And I outline a few. The one that I think stands out to me the most is that second bullet. You're working remote, right? But so you don't get to see your boss and your coworkers in the restroom, walking down the street to lunch, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? So you have to be more intentional, proactive about seeking those direct opportunities for engagement. Hey Jane, things have been going great, but do you have 30 minutes for a check-in on Thursday at 1:30? You go in for that check-in. While you're in the check-in, hey, Chris, I hadn't seen him in a while, Mr. USO. Can we do this on a routine basis? I want to get feedback from you, how I'm doing, if I'm meeting your expectations, and what I can do to enhance it. Be intentional, be dogged almost. Because one of the things you're going to find in a remote work environment, people are not as quick to respond. I worked remotely even at Hampton University. We're all back now. We all have to be vaccinated and get routine COVID tests. But getting responses from people is hard. And if you don't have their cell phone number, what are you going to do? You're stuck. You can't go down to their office. So be intentional. Set up those appointments so you don't have to go on the hunt for people when you need something. Going on to the next slide. How do you build relationships with your colleagues? So the reason this is important, at least it was at Cox, I had a person tell me this. You can have an A on a grading scale in your performance, but if you get a C in relationships, you're dead in the water at Cox. You cannot advance. So what does that mean? It means that the person to your left and your right, you can't be walking around, I don't know you. You ain't a boss of mine. No, you are a 360-degree human being. And you never know what you might learn or how you can impart something from a colleague. Set up check-ins, talk about your dog, talk about your children's school, and build relationships so that when they're back at the office, they can say, Jane is so cool. I don't really know about her work. She doesn't report to me, but man, she gave me some advice the other day that really touched my heart and my spirit. I would go 1,000 miles for that chick, right? That's what you got to do. That's what that slide means. Next slide. Promoting promotability. So my daughter just graduated from college, and the last thing she's talking about doing is want to go back to school. But I said to her, "You must continuously learn." So while you're at home, and I have a very long commute, it's 2 hours every day. Working remotely gave me 2 hours back. You don't think I could do a certificate course that went about 3 weeks so I could get some credential to add to my resume and share that with my supervisor? I'm trying to enhance my skill set. You don't think I could learn some Spanish, which I'm doing right now? I love Spanish, so I'm doing Babbel. Further, what about getting your master's? Why not? My PhD took me 4.5 years to get. Grueling 4.5 years. I don't recommend it to anyone unless you want a lot of torture. But I got it. I made it through. Torture. Torture. But what do they say? It's the race between the tortoise and the hare. Slow and steady wins the race. Do something to show your boss, hey, I'm in this thing to win. I want to be here and I'm your person. The power, going to the next slide, the power is in your hands, literally, because you have the convenience of sitting at home in your pajamas with a computer screen in front of you to reach out, call, email, much more than you would have had. But go to the next slide. But wait, there's more. You may be your own boss. And I'm going to blow through these. If we could go to the next. It also means starting your own business. Now, I do have a side hustle. That's, the vernacular, your side business. Because that bullet too, you must. This is not a financial 101 class. I'm just trying to break down some knowledge to you. Diversify your income. All your income should not come from one teeny little place. My daughter, who has a job, also has her own makeup business. It's called Beats by Tori B. And if anybody, the women know what a beat is. Beat means get your makeup, get your beat on. She can get $75 a face. Okay? Diversify your income. So even if you want to stay with your day job, think about it. Next slide. So there are some upsides. This is a heck of a slide. And downsides. I'm not going to go over them. Pros, it's low investment, depending on the business you choose. Downside, you may, grow too fast and you got to make a choice. Is it my day job, like my husband did, or do I go full bore to grow my own business? Next slide, please. This came from NerdWallet. This is some good stuff. The one I like a lot, because I do a lot of writing, is freelance writer. I don't really have time to write somebody else's stuff, but I like writing. And if I ever, turn the wick down some, maybe that's something to consider. But there are some interesting home-based opportunities that you can consider to diversify your portfolio. Next slide, please. The conclusion of my remarks, and I hope, Brandon, did I get to the 15 minutes? I'm good, is use your time wisely. When you are at home, don't say, okay, I can watch a quick episode of Real Housewives of Potomac right now, and then I can go back. I tend to be a workaholic. I like work. I get joy from doing things. And so I'm not a time waster that much. But at least from 8 to 6, use that time productively to think about what can I learn, who can I talk to, make sure I get my work done, and how can I build relationships to enhance my skill sets and improve my benefit. Was it in The Matrix, the movie series, that said there is no box? Maybe it's there is no spoon. I don't know what it was, but there is no something. And there is no box. The opportunities today abound. And if you can't make it today, I was thinking I had my glasses on, you need to reevaluate. Relook at your business plan. Look at what you are doing. Reevaluate how you're doing it. And then, like I said, be intentional. The last slide, this is my phone number. That's supposed to be me. That's a good picture. I do like it. That's my email, my phone number. I didn't put my cell. I should have, and I appreciate your time. And now we'll turn the floor over to LaKaisa.
So before I get started, I'm going to actually share some of the tips and tricks that I share with others as they're thinking about their career. And one of them is social media presence. So would you all oblige me with a selfie from the room? Would you be open to that? All right, let's do it. This is one of the ways that you will definitely expand your brand by making sure you let people know where you are or where you've been so that they know that you do have interest in other spaces. So I'm going to stand over here so you can get a full picture. And then we're going to say on the count of 3, career. Okay? Ready? I get some excitement. I'm trying to get in the picture about getting to. All right. You ready? 1, 2, 3. Career. Yes. Thank you. So my name is LaKaisa Lane, and I am the director for customer care. My main responsibility is the onboarding of new employees for our tech support and account services positions. So anytime if you have Cox services and you call in and you need help with your services, you are speaking to someone on my team. Specifically though, I onboard new employees to these roles, and I have 8 different markets that I am responsible for. So I'm super excited to be asked to share some of my tips as we think about home as a career builder. So what I'm going to share with you today is similar to what Felicia said throughout her presentation. So you will see some synergies in what we tell you. Mine is going to be focused on the how. So 1, you want to define what your career means to you and what that is. You want to leverage the technology that's out there in order for you to be visible in a virtual environment. You want to take action. And then finally, you want to create synergy between your work life and your home life. So home is our foundation, and I'm going to share this quick video with you.
How do I find my passion? Asking how you find your passion makes the assumption that your passion has been lost somewhere. Your passion has not been lost. Your passion has never been developed. Passions are created, they're constructed, they're developed. And it starts with interest.
One of the greatest misconceptions of our time is that your passion is something hidden inside of you. Michael Jordan wasn't born dreaming of slam dunks. Bill Gates' first word wasn't Microsoft. Even Elon Musk didn't start by reaching for Mars. But there is something different about these extraordinary minds. But it isn't what they were born with. It's something they had to learn to build, brick by brick.
Now, once you have that, you've got to start going deep into gaining mastery. And it's in the process of gaining mastery that you're going to find out if that interest turns into a love, then turns into a passion. People who are passionate are willing to fight through the boredom. Now, they're not doing it thinking, oh my God, this is so much fun. They're thinking, I want to win. I want to play at the highest level, and I am willing to break myself in half. And this is the thing that I cannot get entrepreneurs to understand. If you want to be great, I promise you, as Tommy said, you already have in you what you need, which is the ultimate evolution-approved ability to adapt. So you can change to get great. You can change to become whatever you need to, but it is the people that are willing to literally break themselves in half to get the result that they want.
Your passion isn't something hidden inside of you that's going to reveal itself magically over a cup of coffee. It is not going to come knocking at your door. It's something you have to go out and build. And the people that have the discipline to do that, the ones that are willing to put in the hard work of building their life's meaning from the ground up, those are the ones with enough grit to really make it. Those are the ones that don't stop at just building a passion. Those are the ones that don't stop until they've changed the world with it.
So I leave that video with you for you to think about what is your passion and go after it. I know I'm pretty pumped up after seeing that video. I usually get that way with that video. So we think of our home as our foundation. And so when you come home from work, that's your sanctuary. So we want you to think about your sanctuary as a place also for you to dream about what that next career move could be for you. But then how do you leverage the aspect of it being virtual to your advantage? So you might ask, how do I define it? Find your niche. Felicia talked a little bit about, she shared that list of things that you could potentially do that you didn't realize that was a passion of yours. So once you tap into what that passion is, create yourself a career purpose statement. And I actually have an example of one that I found online. My career goal is to become a full-time writer in 5 years. To achieve this, I will work on freelance writing projects to help build up my portfolio, attend writing workshops, and read 1 book per quarter in order to improve my writing. That's an example of a career purpose statement, and it follows the SMART plan: specific, measurable, actionable, results-oriented, and timely. Assess the skills. We talked earlier about going after those career opportunities, but you also need to build up the skills that are needed for that. You may have to look at the job description for the job that you want, and don't just settle on the minimum qualifications. Look at the preferred and determine within those preferred qualifications, what is it that you need to go back to school for, get a certification for. Create a list of what you have and what you want to achieve. Talked a little bit about the preferred section. Success journal. I don't know, how many of you journal today? A few hands. I wasn't a journaler either. But I took up journaling recently because it helps to put your thoughts down and you can actually go back to them. And you can reflect on the things that you wrote down and see if you're achieving the things that you set out. So I would encourage to give it a try. For me, I'm a visual person. So around my computer, I have photos of the things that I want to accomplish in my career and in my life. I'm dying to go to Costa Rica. So I have a photo of Costa Rica on my computer. So it reminds me that I will get there. Design your career. No one can design it for you. You own that piece. So part of what Felicia talked about earlier is identifying those people. So you have to know who is in your network you aspire to be in the role that they're in, or you aspire to have some of the skills and characteristics that they have. Set up that coffee break, as Felicia talked about earlier. Get out there and start meeting new people. I tell people all the time, if you haven't met one person at least each month, then your network isn't building. So try to find ways to network with different people outside of your organization, outside of your business, and outside of your circles, because you'll learn a lot more from people that are different and some that are like you. Oh, it got cut off. Leverage technology. Make technology work for you. So I'm going to go through a couple of bullets really quick. You have to set up some notifications for some of the job boards that are out there for the roles that you're aspiring to get into. If you're looking to take that next level, how do you know what's out there if you don't have notifications to let you know that a new posting came up? Create a virtual business card. We're not in person anymore, so you can't hand out business cards. But there are so many platforms like Hi Hello. Adobe has some free ones, and Microsoft even has a way that you can create a virtual business card. And it's so quick and easy. Most times you just take it from your phone and send it in an email to someone. It's very easy. Invest in separate devices. How many of you have more than 10 devices hooked up to your internet service today? Oh, I have about 20. And so what I will say to this is, with all of your devices taking up the bandwidth for your internet, you want to consider separate devices. There's nothing like, you have an iPad and you're using that along with the rest of your family, and someone else has it and you need it because you want to go look up an online course that you can take. Consider investing in your own iPad so that you can use that specifically for looking up the things that you want to look for as you're looking for online learning. Microsoft Office, Apple, social media, those are amazing ways for you to stay connected. Microsoft Teams in your organization has great ways to stay connected. Social media, we just took a quick selfie. Those are the things you can post on LinkedIn when you're letting your network know what you've been doing. How many of you have heard of Slack or Reddit? Right? Very popular tools right now. But there's also another tool called Lunch Club. I was just recently introduced to this. You go in and you set up an account and you identify what your characteristics, skills, likes, and it actually matches you with someone in the same industry that you're in. And you can set up 15-minute, 30-minute lunch breaks where you all get together, you have lunch together, and you talk about what's going on in your lives. It's a great way to meet people as well. Increase your internet speeds. It's absolutely important that you understand that having basic internet service and having multiple devices connected and then always being online for most of the day, a basic internet package is not going to cut it. So you will need to increase the speeds of your internet in order to stay connected and also have the connection that you need. And if you happen to be on a phone call, you don't want those calls to drop. And then my favorite thing is noise canceling headphones. Sometimes we all have busy households. Sometimes the dog decides to bark. You put the noise canceling headphones on, then you don't hear it and the people on the calls don't hear it either. And then join local organizations. We have the Northern Virginia Technology Council, the Chamber of Commerce is in your local cities. We have Blacks in Technology. The Connect 757 is a young professionals organization. The Virginia Center for Inclusive Communities. And near and dear to my heart is the National Association for Multi-Ethnicity in Communications. And we do have a Virginia chapter. So if you're interested, let me know. But these are great organizations for you to expand your network, to learn and meet new people as well. Take action. You have to put in the work. It can't get done if you don't put in the work. So Felicia mentioned a lot of time will need to be spent researching those online professional development courses that you need to take or the certifications. LinkedIn has a great LinkedIn learning platform. I learned how to get better at PowerPoint going through the LinkedIn learning on their platform. So there's never an opportunity. There's always an opportunity for you to learn more by going out there to see what's available to you. You may also need to step outside of your home, right, in order to focus. So you might need to go to that local Starbucks to take this 30-minute course. You may need to go to the park, or you may need to go to your patio. So just consider your environment as you're doing these things as well. Be prepared to show up. Turn your camera on. Felicia talked about that. A trick that someone told me most recently is your light should be in front of you. So if you have one of those ring lights, it should be positioned in front of you and then allow the natural light to come in from behind you. That's how you save and balance the lighting when you're on these video calls. So that's just a tip that I learned most recently. And then if you work for an organization or even with your business, invest in some platforms where you can create virtual break rooms where people can come and join on their 15-minute break, their lunch break, and you all can be in fellowship together, but leverage the technology that's out there so that you can stay connected. And then Focus or Freedom are two apps that help to keep you focused. One of the apps, which is Freedom, you set up the time to say, I need to focus for 30 minutes on this Excel spreadsheet. And what it does is you put in the different websites that you know when you see it or you get the notifications for, and it's like a squirrel and you go after it, it will block those websites for those 30 minutes because we know that that's a distraction for you. And it'll block it so that you can get the time in to do the things you need to do for 30 minutes, and then it goes away, and then those notifications come back up again. So I wanted to share that as something unique.
I'm actually quite good about taking time for myself where I disconnect from everything. I'm a great believer. When people take vacation but they're online the whole time, that's not a vacation. That's telecommuting from the beach, right? And so one could argue that in our modern day and age, we actually take zero vacation, and we have 0 evenings and 0 weekends, and I think that's incredibly unhealthy. And so as a company and as an individual, we're pretty good. Like if I get emails on a weekend, if I look at them, which I don't always, I will not reply until Monday because it's the weekend. You know, there's always exceptions. And when I go on vacation, I tell my team I'm on vacation. If there's an emergency, deal with it, right? Because I'm on vacation. And quite frankly, anybody who goes to a retreat or an offsite or takes a day off and checks in on a regular basis, nothing says I don't trust my team more than feeling the need to check in every hour. You're literally telling people, you can't do this without me. I have to be on every email, you know? So I'm really good when I decide to disconnect, to completely disconnect from work. And I understand that ideas, I recognize that, you know, we talk about work-life balance. You know, work and life are not opposing forces. Balance is the wrong analogy. You know, I'm the same person at home as I am at work. It's just different clothes and a different table I sit at, right? And so what I try and do is recognize that it's all my life, and there's no difference in where I am and what I'm doing. And so what I'm trying to do is live a balanced life in general, and I work to ensure that creative things are very much a part of it. That can be making things, but that can also be going to see things. I think it's very important for people to take time off, to look at art, see theater, you know, do whatever your thing is. I think you need to engage with something that challenges your brain in a way that it doesn't challenge you every single day, so that you see the world differently. I have many, many ideas sitting in places they don't expect to have ideas.
So I played that video for you all because Simon Sinek, if you don't follow him, you should. He's a guru at helping leaders identify where they need to make changes. How do they find that balance in their life? And one of the things that was said in a clip prior to this was work-life synergy instead of work-life balance. Because now that we're working from home, you have to find ways to allow those things to blend together, but then sometimes work separately as well. And so to achieve synergy at home and at work, delegation. You know, you have a call at 9 o'clock and you know that the clothes still need to go in the dryer, and you have a 13-year-old at home and they're off school today. Maybe you delegate them to fold the clothes while you take this 9 o'clock call. So there's ways that you can do that in your household while you're working to create that synergy. Create an on a call sign so that you put outside of the door if you have to take one of those important calls. So when the family does approach the door, they will see the sign and know not to interrupt unless it's an emergency. Set up your work schedule. Leverage the out of office feature in your calendar. Designate time to focus on the next steps in your career. Break up your day. I take 15-minute walks twice a day, and I actually block that on my calendar. And if I have someone who's requesting that time, I decline the meeting because that's my time to break away from the day-to-day. So you might not be as drastic as me, but it is opportunity for you to look at how you space out your time. And get away from I've always done it this way. We have to rethink and reimagine how we're living our lives and building our careers while we're at home. And as Simon said, when you sign off, stay off. Step away, cover the computer, and close the door. I love this quote. The belief that you can have a meaningful career is the first step to finding one. This is my contact information. This is how you can reach me. Thank you all.
Okay, yes, I'm a copycat because I'm jealous. I want to be a little So here it go. Everybody say, hey, peace. There it is.
All right, do we have time for Q&A? Okay, we have time for Q&A.
And we're supposed to stand where? Oh, is this good?
Yes, by the chairs.
Wait, all the way up. Okay. We know how to take instructions. And please, the presentations were not that good. So I know there must be something that you all have a question about to get clarity on. Come on, who wants to? Yes, ma'am.
So National Association for Multi-Ethnicity in Communications.
I'm going to ask the audience a question then. And y'all, someone weigh in. I'm going to reverse the thing. How many of you got at least two things you all can take away that are actionable from today's conversation? Hands, 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 hands. So, the young man here in the blue, tell me the two things. Sorry, that's the way it rolls.
Regularly scheduling all of those check-ins with the team who's in there. I'm the one who was always coming into the office. I was always there. I wanted to put my shoes on, but they were not always.
Mhm.
So if they weren't getting that, I need to go do that with them.
Yes.
Perfect.
On the other hand,
Yeah.
we're going to keep doing these hybrid meetings with our town council, and we never set up the permanent, really good lighting and microphones. And it's my job to make them look good. I have got to go spend money on lighting and microphones.
Yes.
Woo! Give this man a hand. Yes. And you think it's a little bit vain. It's not about just trying to look like Halle Berry or who's somebody else, Christy Brinkley. It's about making sure people can see you. The thing that you miss in remote is what you're getting now. Body language, you get to feed off one another. So as much as you can create that environment in your Zoom space, you're doing it. Who else wants to volunteer? There are two things. Oh my God. Did I skip? Oh, yes, sir.
Yes.
And I really like the list of business ideas for your home. Part of what I work with is small business development. I'd like to kind of get that
Absolutely.
Bam. I'm happy to give this sheet of paper away because I don't want to take it back. But no, team in the back who's coordinating things, sorry. Are they going to get this slide deck? Is everybody going to get an electronic copy of it? If not, I can give you on my business card. I'd be happy to email. That work? There's there a question in the back and the lady. Oh, Nerd Wallet. Nerd Wallet. N-E-R-D wallet. It's awesome. Awesome. So who else wants to share? We're gonna use this time wisely. Because here's the thing, team. We learn from each other. We do. What you all heard this young man say about his team and making sure that they, and the other one in the back about the books, you probably are writing that down or storing it somewhere in your frontal lobe. So don't cheat your fellow participants out of learning opportunities. Share, share, share. So who else? Yes, sir.
I think it's really important to emphasize that 15 minutes is all. To get away.
That's it.
Stand up and walk away.
That's it.
Get your own head clear and come back and you'll find that you're walking away.
And sometimes in the very beginning, before I did that, I would feel bad about declining a meeting. But I had to say, selfishly, I've been sitting already for 4 hours.
Yep.
I need to get up for me.
Yep.
So I do decline them. So in the beginning, you will feel bad about declining them, but eventually, once you get outdoors and you get that fresh air and you come back and you're ready to take on the second half of the day, you'll start feeling a lot better about doing it.
And I'm gonna tell you something I do. I try my best not to take Friday meetings after 1 o'clock. Why? It's not because I don't think I can handle it, but I don't feel like I show up as my best self. For some reason, Friday's hard on me because you're going hard the work week. So just be self-aware. What is your cutoff?
Yes.
Maybe you shouldn't have meetings after 3 p.m. on Mondays because you are a weekend warrior, and Mondays all you want to do is get to bed as soon as possible.
Or, Wednesdays is a heavy homework day for your children, right? So you decide, okay, 3 o'clock is it. I need to devote the time to doing the homework. Yes.
I kind of categorize this as a self-evaluation assessment piece. And the two things I took out, actually wrote them down, was developing a career purpose statement.
Mm-hmm.
And then incorporate the journaling. I think you referenced it as success journal.
Yes.
So those are two key features that were very
And encourage your teams to create a success journal as well. So for some of us that still go through the annual performance review period, that success journal will help your team remember the things that they were successful at. So when they're writing their self-assessment, they don't have to think so hard. They can just go to their journal and type in their self-assessment, what they've done. Same for you as you're communicating with your leader.
That's right. That's right. So this has been delightful. I learn from others and I get energy from others. One of the things is the mask make it so hard, but I think I'm reading the body language. Did you all enjoy this opportunity? Well, come back again. I won't be here, but thank you. Woo! We are done, right? We're off the air. Yeah. All right, my sister.
All right, I'm gonna take a quick second.
So who said they? Oh, I'm sorry, Tina. Oh, okay. You sent that to me. You get hard, and you get hard, and do you want hard? You may have to talk. Oh, you know, he's from Danville. Cause I saw it. I'm from Danville. Yes, I am from Danville, Virginia. I am. Oh my God. I'm from Chapter. So you didn't think I knew from Chapter? It has one stop right here. It's still just got one stop right here. Her name is Lover. This is Reverend Sylvia Walker. My daddy, the late great Let me take a picture of your bag because I'm gonna email it to you so I get back to the office. Because my son is on.
Yeah, I've been able to get down to Seacoast, but it says you can have to, but this COVID thing messes everything up.
And I got my booster, which is why I'm not scared right now.
I got a state championship ring for flat belt. Back in the day.
No, not interested.
I was interested in that. List of television.
You made the whole thing. That's all you want to do. Yeah. You want the whole thing? Oh, okay. I'm happy.
And this was nerve.
Nerve? Well, there it is right there. You see, there's the URL. Yeah.
Nice meeting you.